folks. Welcome to the Creator's Journey with the Halfling and the Spaceman. We love talking to all sorts of creators about their journeys into how they became creators that they are today. And we are excited and happy to have with us Sam Robb. Now, Sam, I know him in the capacity as the public relations person for Raconteur Press. But surprise, surprise, he's also a writer, which is
What
very,
a shock, Halfling. Somebody who works for a publishing company is also a
I
writer.
know. um, so he has written flash fiction, he's written short stories, he's written his latest novel, which was published in 2000 October of 2025. It's called the Road Mage Volume 1 in the series of murder. What? Sense of murder. I can't
Sense
even
of
read.
murder.
I'm sorry.
The series of
No.
murder. No, this isn't
This,
about Dexter. This isn't about Hannibal Lecter.
no, no, this is not, at least I don't think it's serial killer stuff. I guess
But
we'll
we'll
find
find
out
out.
a little bit. Right. Welcome, Sam. We really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you, Jen. It's a pleasure to be on with you guys.
Uh, well, we're going to go ahead and just dive right into it. We usually want to know a little bit about our guests. So
Right into the deep end.
it's always the deep end on with us. Um, uh, so we like for our guests to talk a little bit about their sort of formative years, like their, junior high, high school, even into college, what kinds of things they were into. And for you in particular, when did you decide that you had to get involved in, I guess, sort of the literary world because you have, you have feet in at least two different areas of the literary world. So so just go ahead, tell us a little bit.
So when did I decide I was going to get involved? Second grade. It took me a little while to actually do anything about that, but I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be a writer.
Okay.
Uh, my dad, uh, he passed away a couple of years ago. He was a tremendous reader, and he loved science fiction and fantasy and alternate history. So I grew up reading Asimov and Niven and
Mhm.
Simak and a bunch of other very classic science fiction writers,
Yeah.
and they've all been very strong influences on me, even to this day. Um, so yeah, just reading all those stories, I was like, man, I want to tell stories like this. I want to be a storyteller like this. And I don't know what happened along the way. Probably, Glenn Cook and Jim Butcher and a bunch of other people that write fantasy that I
Mhm.
really fell in love with. And I ended up, I think I've written one science fiction story, and everything else is some form of fantasy or urban fantasy.
Mhm.
So, uh, A Sense of Murder, the first book in the Road Mage series, that is dark fantasy. Sigils is an urban fantasy that I set in Pittsburgh, and then just about everything else. If it's got ghosts in it, if it's got monsters in it, if it's got creepy things in it, I love writing it.
So So was that really what you were sort of into, reading all of these types of books when you were younger, or did you have other interests like, did were you into Star Wars or Star Trek or, any of those types of things?
Star Wars, awesome. Yes, watched all the Star Wars movies. Went with my best friend Paul to see Star Wars, like for his birthday. I think in '76 or '77.
Uh-huh.
Then he was my best friend going through uh, grade school and high school. In high school, we went to see Aliens together, the
Oh,
sequel to Alien,
uh-huh.
and literally, both of us jump out of our seat when Ripley comes out in the power suit.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and just so Star Trek, read so much science fiction, anything I could get my hands on. My dad would he would get books in from like the science fiction book of the month club, and whatever it was, I don't care. I was sitting down and I was reading it. Um, but like loved Asimov. Mentioned that. Discovered Larry Niven. Loved him. Played Dungeons and Dragons. All the typical nerd stuff. But also, especially when I was in high school, did a lot of sports, ran track, uh, got involved at school, and went on to college here in Pittsburgh where I live. Went to Carnegie Mellon University because reading all that stuff growing up, I was convinced that engineers were awesome, and I wanted to be an engineer. And the weirdest and strangest form of engineering I could discover was metallurgical engineering. So that's what I did. I went to school for metallurgical engineering, and then I have never used it. I ended up being a computer programmer, like half my class. I don't know why, but
There's something to be said for a man of a certain age being a computer programmer. Spaceman don't know nothing about that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Over to my question, Halfling.
Yes, sir.
So, Sam, one of the things we like to ask folks is when they were kids, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I I told you, man, engineer. I wanted to be reading, particularly reading like Isaac Asimov and some of the old greats of science fiction. It was the engineers who were the problem solvers. There was some horrible planet ending, galaxy ending thing that was going on. It was the engineers that saved the day. When what was the movie? Independence Day. When they flew up to the alien spaceship with a Mac and used it to hack the alien computer system, right? I that was I was like, that's me. That's me. That's who I want to be. Um, so that's always what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a problem solver. I wanted to be somebody who built things. Um, and I think that kind of segued a little bit right into the obviously the computer program report part of things. Uh, my day job, I do large scale file systems, and I love solving problems. I love building something that has never existed before that's going to solve a customer's problem. That is actually that's very satisfying when you go to somebody and you say, "Here's something that I made," and they're like, "Yes, that's exactly what I needed." Um, in a lot of ways, writing's like that too, right? Some of it I do because it scratches my own itch. Some of it I do because I know that this is a story that I think is going to resonate with people, and it's going to click with them, and I'm going to give them something that I don't know if it solves a problem any more significant than hey, I need something entertaining to read, but it does solve a problem. So
Uh, well, I know that's the main reason I read is, to be entertained, to be taken
you want
away.
to get away from the world for a
To
little
get
bit,
away.
right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. It's like going to a movie, and people complain about how this or that wasn't realistic enough, or that would never happen. I'm like, who cares? Enjoy the ride. Enjoy, don't pick apart. Be entertained. Just let go and be entertained
We
for a little bit.
we do that. My daughter and I, in particular, we will. My middle daughter, number one minion. She's the one who just bought a house.
Uh-huh.
We were talking about earlier. We will go and watch a movie, and we will have a blast on it. Then we'll get in the car on the way home, and there's like a couple of minutes of silence, and then did you notice? And we start picking the movie apart. Then, but we let ourselves be entertained first. So
Yeah. Yeah. I get you. Uh, well, sort of a follow-up question. When did you actually start writing professionally, and how long did it take you to get published?
um, professionally, I would say, wow. would have been around 2019. And I decided that a little bit before that, I decided that with one thing and another, if I was going to be a writer, I needed to sit down and write. Larry Correia, in his blog at one point, mentioned about the need to treat your job as if it, or treat writing as if it were a job. You need to put your button chair, hit on keyboards, and do some writing.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that I was going to go ahead and do that. So I'd say around 2017 or so was when I sat down and said I'm going to focus on this. Um, Over the next couple of years, I finished a couple of books, and they were definitely the sort of thing that you look at and you go, "Wow, I am glad I finished this. It's got some really cool ideas in here. I'm just going to put it off to the side for a while." Mature enough to recognize that, and then actually coming up August, I have it set on my calendar as a reminder. August 11th, 2020 was when my first published story came out. And that was a story called FedEx in an anthology called Supernatural Streets that Robb pulled together. And I met so many awesome people doing that, right? Declan Finn was in there, Cedar Sanderson, Amy Gibbons, a bunch of other writers that you probably know, and I'm like, I guess I'm a writer now. I've published something, and then I was like, okay, I could either stop here, or I can prove that it wasn't a fluke by doing another one, and then second one could be a fluke too. So I needed to do it. I was convinced myself I needed to do it at least 3 short stories, and then I could say I was a writer. And now I've I don't know how many short stories and a collection and 2 novels later. I guess I still am trying to figure out if I'm really a writer or not, but I do sit down and put my butt in the chair and put my hands on the keyboard. So I guess that counts.
Well, do you suffer from a little bit of imposter syndrome?
I would, except that I'm not cool enough like all the rest of the imposters. So they're all pulling it off better than me. Yeah, I think everybody does. I take that back. There's some people that I know, some writers that I know that are incredibly confident, but they're the types of folks that are incredibly confident in everything they do, and not because they're, just to make it clear, right? I'm not talking about people who are like arrogant or whatever, but just like, oh yeah, you definitely have the chops to jump out of an airplane, with a dog strapped to your back is infiltrating, some narco terrorist compound. I would believe that of you. Yes, you could do that. Writing is no big deal. So, I think the most writers though, we're very fragile because you're writing for an audience, and unlike something like acting or even doing a podcast, right? You don't have the immediate feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to let your imagination go, and like, will people like this? Unfortunately, your imagination usually isn't good at torturing your main characters. So you come up with all these reasons why nobody will ever like what you write until it actually gets out there and somebody tells you, hey, that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then you feel really good.
Yeah, yeah. You need that little bit of vindication or that,
It
validate.
helps.
Validate.
It does help. Yeah.
It does. It does.
All right, Mr. Spaceman.
Well, we've talked about your writing career a little bit. Let's talk about the genres you like to write. You write fantasy, science fiction. Which do you prefer?
Definitely fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told people that one of the best things about fantasy is that when you make something up, as long as you can justify it, nobody can tell you that you're wrong. If your werewolves aren't vulnerable to silver, and instead it makes them stronger, and you can justify it, because it was the vast werewolf conspiracy, spreading the rumors about Silver hurting them when it really makes them superpowered. Then hey, you can write whatever you want. If you get the orbital mechanics wrong, if one of the genres that I don't think that I've never written, and I don't think I ever will write, is alternate history. I mentioned my dad loved it. He was a historian,
Yeah.
but the number of ways that you can go wrong with alt history that will just set people off is really, there's too much to get right there in order to make the story work and keep from throwing people out of it. So yeah, fantasy definitely. And I tend to veer off in fantasy either into the humor side of things. I've got one novella I did with a talking cat who was a PI who was cursed by a gypsy, and he's now a black cat. And because he's a talking cat, he's legally considered a familiar, and has to have a court-appointed witch, and that turns out to be his sister. So the two, it's a kind of cat noir, Moggy noir story with the two of them. The other way I tend to go is very dark, demons and bad things happening, and good men having to stand up and stop them. So either one of the when I feel like I need a palate cleanser, I feel like I go for the funny story. When I feel like I need to be serious, that's when I go for the darker stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's sort of where the Jim Butcher influence comes in, because that's what Dresden does. He's the good man that fights the bad things.
Oh, I love I so you're obviously a reader, right? Yeah. So what
Uh,
what was the book? What was the point where you decided, yeah, I like, Harry Dresden is a character that I like. Do you
uh,
remember?
I would say almost right off the bat. To be honest with you, I can't come up with a specific point.
It was the TV series.
Oh, really?
It
Okay.
was that was our first Dresden Files experience.
Actually, that's true. Yeah, it was. It was. We watched the series first. Did you
Oh
ever see
wow.
the series? It,
I've seen clips of it, but I've never actually sat down and watched it.
you
Do
should.
I need to? I mean, you
Yeah,
think so?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You should.
I'll
It's a little
It's different.
different, and it's a whole lot shorter. It unfortunately didn't last all that long.
Yeah,
But
which
yeah,
is a shame.
it was a I thought it was a great show, and yeah, I think Spaceman's right about that. Um, so
Yeah. For
uh,
me, for me, I honestly I can't even remember if it's the first book where uh Harry and Michael Carpenter are going into not an orphanage, a burning hospital, and they're rescuing children from the ICU, I think,
mhm,
and or from the maternity ward. And I mean, that for me, that I was like, okay, this is the guy that I would like to be.
mhm,
I would want to be the guy, and not even knowing that much about Harry Dresden or Michael Carpenter. And I'm like, I want more of both of these guys. I want to know who are you that you do this sort of thing. And I mean, obviously, Jim Butcher has not disappointed at all in revealing that over the course of the books.
right.
But I was like, if I'm going to write somebody, I want it to be somebody like that, someone that, someone who picks up the book, and three chapters in, they're like, I like this guy. I want to see what he does, and I want to enjoy what he does, because he's a good guy doing good things.
Mhm,
I don't really like the nihilistic sort of, you know everybody's dark, everybody's gray, everybody's bad. It
right.
just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, oh, I guess I need to ask my question, don't
Yeah, it's your turn. You're up.
I? I'm sorry.
And at the bat, the halfling.
Okay. I want to talk for a minute about the book that came out
Okay.
last back in October of 25. Um, so can you give us the elevator pitch for it? Just tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's a buddy, essentially a magical buddy cop story. You've got a Kellen who is a lawman and in a fantasy world,
Mhm.
and he has a talent for seeing the truth. And he gets paired up with a gentleman by the name of Prospero, who's a magus for the imperial, for this empire, this world spanning empire, and he is looking for someone with that talent that was prophesied to have been in that, in the location that Prospero or that Kellen is in. So the two of them end up together, and Kellen obviously is trying to keep his talent hidden because if he exposes that he can sense the truth, there's uh, basically a long life of service to the empire in his future,
Right.
because that's far too useful to let somebody run around with that.
Right.
And that goes on in for a very short period of time until they start encountering a series of murderers. So there's your serial killer for you. Um, and when they start tracking the murders, it's very obvious there's a magical component to it, and not only a magical component, a demonic component. Uh, and by the end of the opening act, they've ascertained that there is a rogue warlock who is very dangerous and who is out loose, and he was the one responsible for these murders. By sending his pet demon out to deal with them, and the two of them have to learn how to work together, particularly strained when they have a third person added to their band because of politics. A young seer by the name of Nissa, and she is sent essentially to keep an eye on them, and ends up working with them, and basically the three of them become a trio during the course of the story. So I won't tell you what happens at the end, but I have had people uh, message me and say, "Oh no, I can't believe you did that." So you'll have to read it and figure out what that was.
Ah, it's got an anime ending.
Very good. And is this part of a series, I guess?
Yes, it is
Okay.
not a series that I have completed yet.
Right.
I am a slow writer. I'm not fast by any stretch of the imagination. Um, but I do have at least two more books that I would like to do uh, in the same series. The setting, if you're familiar with comic books at all, there's a comic book from First Comics called John Ostrander wrote called Grimjack, and this the setting there is a city where all sorts of different planes of reality intersect and come into and out of conjunction with it. So that the tagline was magic works here, technology works there, swords work everywhere. And that's kind of the feeling that I'm going here. We've got multiple worlds we're going to be transiting. We've got characters that are going to be out of their element in some cases, and definitely in a place where they can show off and be the star of the show and others. So kind of and overall, uh, trying to tell a much more I want a story that is built. I wanted to tell a story that's built around faith, that is built around fellowship, that is built around, like I said, good men doing good things in hard times. And I don't shy away from that. And I want to continue in that theme and producing something that is a little more thoughtful and a little more adult than kind of I guess, your standard science fiction or fantasy. you know, I don't know, a little more than entertainment, but not a not a whole bunch more, because I realized that you have to entertain first, and you
Right.
can teach second. So,
Right. And remind us the name of the book again.
name of the book is A Sense of Murder, and it is from Celine Press. It was actually Celine is a new press, and it was their first book.
Oh wow. Okay, cool. Very cool. All right. Well, Spaceman, I believe you're up.
Spaceman at the mic. Now, Rob, writing has its challenges, it has its opportunities. What do you enjoy most about writing? And conversely, what do you find the most challenging or the biggest obstacle?
Um, I'm going to be really weird here and tell you that I like editing, because once I have a story down, it's really a lot of fun for me to go back and to tweak it and to solidify it and to make it work the way I want it to. It's getting the words down in the first place that seems to be just hard for me. I will start earlier than I should have. I come in later than I should have. I forget to add scenes that I really wanted to, and then when I look at it, I'm like, this is a mess, but it exists,
Mm-hmm.
and I can go ahead and I can start editing it. So that actually is a lot of fun to me. It's the writing that can be difficult, trying to get all your thoughts organized and figure out, particularly when you're talking about a short story,
Mm-hmm.
what goes in and what stays out, because you can try and cram, you know, 10 pounds of ideas into a 5 pound sack or a 5,000 word story. And it just comes across as like, whoa, what's going on here? Um, and then you end up confusing the reader, confusing yourself. What was I trying to do here? This is actually a 20,000, 30,000. This is a novella. This is a short novel. Um, Trying to figure out how to make the point that you want to make in a short story or in a chapter or even in a scene, it can be really difficult. Um, Taking that scene and looking at it and saying, this doesn't work. I wanted to make this point. I need to cut this out, this out, this out, change these things around. That's very easy. That's very, for me, it feels very productive, because now I had something that didn't work and I fixed it. So yeah, I'd say those are the two things. The writing's hard. I like the editing.
Okay. Well, you're the first writer that's actually said that. So believe it or not.
I'm a weirdo. I'm a weirdo.
And who says there's nothing new under the sun?
No, yeah, that's 100% right. Um, well, Sam, I want to switch gears here and talk about.
And she never does that.
I know, I never do. But I want to talk about how I first got to know you as the public relations person for Raconteur Press. So I want you to put on that hat for a minute, and
Gotcha.
tell us a little bit about what that entails.
Um, well, it starts off with Law Dog holding up something in front of your face and going, "Does this rag smell like chloroform to you?" At that point, you find yourself working for Raconteur Press. Um, no, I kind of fell into that. I'm a little strange in terms of my how I approach things from a PR vantage point, because my experience with PR comes from politics. I was heavily involved in libertarian politics for a number of years,
Hmm.
um, and helped manage Joe Jorgensen and Spike Cohen, their national campaign back in 2020. Uh, I've managed and helped run a couple of campaigns here in Pennsylvania. Um, so I kind of approach PR as my job is to help introduce the authors to the people that want to know about them.
Hmm.
The books are great. Books are why people want to get to know the authors, but nobody really cares about Sam Robb's book. They can buy my book and read it. they want to know more, like the questions you guys asked me, right? Where did you grow up? What did you do? What was your life like? What is your process? What is it that you find challenging or you find rewarding? So my goal as a PR manager at Raconteur is to take our authors, all of whom are really awesome and really amazing. At side note, anybody that's listening to this, if you think, oh my goodness, I'm so boring, there's nobody in the world that would want to listen to me or want to know about me, you are absolutely wrong, because you are fascinating to somebody out there, and probably a lot of somebody's. You're going to connect with a lot of somebody's out there. So, I want to take our authors and, I work to build a relationship with podcasters like you and Roger, with reviewers that we have out there, and work to say, do what we as a publisher can do, right? I can say, hey, Janet, you know me, you know the people that I've sent to you before. You really want to talk to Jacob Sharp. Trust me, he'll be a fantastic interview for you. And that's as a publisher what Raconteur Press we do for our authors. We establish that relationship with people that they don't know, that we can then make an introduction. That is more fun than I can even explain. Being able to take two people and say, you know what, you two really should be talking to each other. Why don't we just get you together in a room for a little bit? And then seeing the things that spin off of that is amazing. It's fantastic. For our authors, yes, there are authors. We want people to buy their books from us, but I also want to see them succeed. I want to see them as individuals. If Raconteur Press is the first stepping stone into a larger career, and we're able to say, yep, that's Jacob. He got to start with us. That's fantastic. If they go on to write with other publishers and spin out new series or new stuff, and they come back to us and they've got something to continue the stories they had here, or something new that they'd like to try with Rack Press, that's beautiful. That's awesome, because we're really in it for the writers. The publishing is, the publishing house is only going to succeed as far as much as the writers do, and the bigger we can make them, the more we can help them along in their careers, the more we're going to prosper. That's my job, and I love it.
It's a great job to have. And, one of the things we really enjoy is hooking people up with other people, because there's so much synergy out there. People that are doing creative things and just need that opportunity, or need to touch base with that one person that you just happen to know. So connecting people is great.
Yeah.
But
oh, sorry, I was just going to say, and we are assisted by people talking to other people and saying, hey, I was just on this cool podcast and I think you might want to talk to these guys. So there's that aspect of it too. It's just a little bit of networking, a little slightly different, but pretty much the same kind of concept, is getting people together to talk to each other. And
so something else I'll throw out for anybody listening who's like, oh man, all this, how do I represent myself? Ask. You'd be amazed at how many people out there will say no. There's a lot of people that will say no. You'd be amazed how many people will say yes. That they would love to have you on. That you're an interesting sounding guest. They're a big name, but you never know when they're going to be like, oh, you know what? I grew up reading Asimov and wanting to be an engineer, and now I write fantasy. You would be a great guy. Come on, let's talk about this. So you don't know who's going to love you. You don't know who's going to like you. Just go ahead and ask.
That's absolutely right. And it never hurts to ask.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right. But now Halfling, you got me in the way of the most important question.
Oops,
The
sorry.
most important question of the entire interview, the entire talk, Rob. This is the thing. Where can people find you?
You can find me online. My website is samrobbwrites.com, SAMROBB writes.com. That's also my handle on Substack, on X, on Facebook, just about anywhere else you can find me. I'm primarily on Substack and X at this point. I will share things on all sorts of social media, but that's the place where you're going to find being most active and talking to people. And then Raconteur Press, also, you can find them on Substack as raconteurpress.substack.com, and on X as the handle is raconteur_press. So, feel free to drop by any of those places. Drop us a line. Drop me a line. For Raconteur, if you're interested in writing for us, we've got open calls that are listed on the Substack. We've got plenty of stuff coming up in 2027. Our list of anthology open calls will be coming out soon, and we're always happy to talk to you.
Awesome.
That
Awesome.
sounds great, and we will get that in the show notes for sure.
All right, Janet, take us out.
Hi, Captain. I don't know. No. Sam, we want to thank you again for taking the time to join us this evening, especially on a vacation at the beach. Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is awesome. I'm sitting out here. I've got the sun setting over there. I'm going for a walk on the beach immediately after this. I got my Hawaiian shirt ready. I'm loving it. This was a tremendously fun opportunity. Thank you for letting me have it, Jim.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, and just as an aside, I really appreciate everything that you have done for us in terms of sending the authors that you have to us, because we have had some really great conversations with some of your writers. It's
Awesome.
been a lot of fun.
It has been a ton of fun.
And so we really appreciate that. And there's a couple of other PR people out there that do that as well. But we just appreciate that in general, because it really helps us out.
It does.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, again, thank you for joining us. It's been a blast.
Thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
And the halfling is doing her best to get in the way of the outro today, so I'm going to start it up anyway. Hey, folks, this is Roger the Spaceman, thanking our audience for joining us today, and we hope that you've enjoyed and been inspired by today's guest, Sam Robb. And as always, for the Halfling and the Spaceman podcast, this is the Spaceman, over and out.